We called our van Koti, which is a Finnish word meaning home, and this has been our home for the past 4 months.
We bought a Toyota Hiace 2007 long wheelbase with 150,000 miles on the clock, specifically because it's a reliable van and they've never let me down.
We have been to over 20 countries and driven over 15,000 miles.
And we've recorded it all right here on our YouTube channel.
Hit that subscribe button and check out our European travel vlogs playlist.
It's been epic.
We have reached our most southern point, which is Greece, and it felt like a really good moment to take a look back on how we built Koti, what we've enjoyed about her and what we probably could have improved on, and have a detailed look at the things that made living in a small van possible for 4 months.
It's a small van which has its own set of challenges, but it also has some rewards. We've driven around all of Europe, pretty much inconspicuously.
The most important decision that we had to make when it came to building the van was how to fit everything we needed into such a small space and make a comfortable home for us to live in for 4 months on the road.
We've loved having a fixed bed, and we are absolute fixed bed converts. This is one of the biggest van life arguments there is. We didn't want to have to make a bed all the time, every day and every evening, and we were able to put a full-size double bed mattress in here, which has been a lifesaver and so comfortable, and really important as I've got bigger with pregnancy to keep us both comfortable at night.
So this is our kitchen, which, as you can see, we put at the back of the van. We figured we'd be cooking outside most of the time anyway, because we were travelling in the summer, and it has been amazing.
Well, I think that's a roaring success, don't you?
That looks fantastic.
There you go, my love.
Yum,
One
yum.
times pizza for lunch.
The design of the kitchen is pretty simple really, but it has absolutely everything we need. One of the best things we purchased was this little cooker. It cost us about £15 off of Amazon. It cooks with these little gas bottles, which you can buy just about anywhere. And they last actually a really long time, and it's just been absolutely brilliant.
I wanted to be able to have all of our spices and everything we needed nice and easily accessible, and we actually had this, which was a 3-tier veg and fruit rack, which we were using at our house at home, and which John dismantled and made into storage places within the kitchen in the van. So this one's got our fruit and veg and onions and things like that. Nice little spice rack up here, and then olive oil, salt, pepper, all the bits you need when you're cooking.
The design of the van started out with the bed. We knew that we wanted a big double bed that wouldn't be an up and over, that was constantly there. So that didn't leave us with very many options for storage. How to get underneath the bed without having to lift up a huge mattress all the time. Drawers, that was the solution. So we basically decided that we'd put a drawer for the cutlery at the top, which is the same depth as this countertop here. Of course, it can't be any deeper because on the other side is the mattress. Then we thought we'd have drawers that go underneath the mattress so that we don't have to go and lift the mattress up to get underneath it.
This is the magic drawer. Comes out all the way like that.
This is our pantry and where we store all of our pots and pans. It's 1.5 meters long, which is quite big, and it's definitely enough to fit everything that we need for the kitchen in any way. We're keeping all the food at the back here and pots and pans at the front. There is a reason why we've got it that way around. Of course, underneath the bed, it's often quite a cool place, and the further under the bed it goes, then most of the stuff in here is cool. We've got this little divider that comes in and out that divides the two compartments together, and it's worked really, really well so far. Aside from the solar panels, these drawer runners here were the most expensive part of the build. They cost around about £80, $100 per set for 2 of them per drawer. They are absolutely rock and roll cool. Basically, you can put around about 100 kilos worth of weight into these drawers, and these runners will take that. I had thought earlier of different solutions and different ideas, maybe a wooden runner or put the drawers on wheels, and I even built them, but it didn't work out. This is by far the best solution that I found, worth every penny. So getting the drawer runners in the right place was a bit of a challenge, and it took me a little while fiddling around with it, but in the end it was totally worth it.
Last but by no means least, and probably one of the most important parts of the kitchen, is the fridge, which lives in here. What I really love is this top cover for the fridge, which comes off like this and fits perfectly on top of the drawer and just gives us that little bit of extra workspace when we're cooking. And then inside here is the fridge. One thing we really wanted was a beautiful place to spend time. So we paid a lot of attention to the detail when we were building the van, and one of the most fun projects I did was stenciling this backsplash for the kitchen. So I just bought standard stencil off Etsy and got some paints, did the stenciling, and then we sprayed it with a lacquer, obviously because we knew that things would be splashing from cooking and it would get a bit dirty, so we wanted to be able to wipe it down and keep it nice and clean. When storage is at such a premium, every little bit counts. And I think for travel in general, not just van life, these squeeze bags are amazing. You can fit so much in them, and they zip closed and keep everything nice and tidy and compact. We've got a whole set of them in the drawer underneath the bed with things like jumpers, jeans, anything you can imagine. They're a total game changer. Highly recommended item, a washing line. Not something I don't think I would have thought of, but a friend recommended it. And this one is super cool. It's elasticated and has these two sticky bits on the end. And what's really cool is that it's wound around itself so that you don't need clothes pegs and you can just push your clothes through these little gaps. And we can put this up using the clips that we have inside the van, but obviously outside is better.
We get asked quite a lot about how do we shower in such a small van. Of course, there is no shower inside this van. But what we found is on our road trips, there are quite a lot of garages where there are trucker stops, for example, where there are showers, which we can use, usually costs a couple of euros, and so we're able to shower in those. We also, up in Norway, Finland and Estonia, had the benefit of lots of freshwater lakes, which were really, really lovely to swim in. And we had a soap that was a bio-friendly soap, so we had no problems.
On the days when we can't find a shower and we need to have a wash, we have this little shower, which again we bought online, that you fill up with
20 litres.
20 litres of water, pop it in the sun, it warms up the water, pipe connects, and you can pop it on the roof of the van and just have a little rinse.
This one is particularly robust. In Switzerland, it spent half a day on the roof of the car until eventually, at around about 50 kilometers an hour, it flew off the back. And so I've patched it up. Brilliant.
Something else that we'd really recommend you got a hold of is this washing up basin, which is a silicone design, so it pops out. This has been a lifesaver for doing hand washing and washing up when you need to walk somewhere, get some fresh water, come back. And then it pops closed again and fits nice and neatly in the drawer and disappears.
Wonderful. So on the roof, we've got a 130 watt solar panel. If I was going to change anything about this van build, it would be the solar panels. They work really, really well, and 130 watts is definitely enough for most of the things we need. But I would change this solid panel like this into the flexi panels, and I'd put 2 flexi panels on the roof instead of just one. When I first looked at solar panels, I knew nothing about them, and these particular fixed solar panels looked a little bit more legit, shall we say, than those flexi ones. But since having built the van, I now know those flexi ones work just as well, and I can imagine having them stuck over the top of the roof here, one at the front, one at the back, 260 watts, it would be totally enough. While we're up here, I'll tell you about the roof fan too. It's really simple. It's also solar panelled. It's not related or linked to any of the other electrics on the van. And it basically, we use it during the night and it sucks out a bunch of air so that condensation doesn't build up inside the van. In the beginning we had a few problems with it. 4 weeks on the road without any signs of dark clouds, but the rain pours today and we have a problem.
The water is coming through the fan vent. Thankfully it only started raining this morning. If it had come in the night, that would have been a pain. But I fear there's some fixing that needs to be done.
That sounds like a job for me.
I think it might be, my love. Definitely a blue job.
So there you have it. Big solar panel at the back. Should have done it different. Never mind. Little fan at the front. I think I'm going to get down now. If there was a top 5 tip list that I was going to hand out, at the very top of that list, I would say to you, think about power and do a little bit of research. This set that we've got, the solar panel and the control box, works really well and it's super duper easy to install. So I wouldn't change that particular system, but like I said earlier, I would definitely add more solar panels, and I'd have the flexi ones rather than the fixed ones on the roof. I would also research my leisure batteries a little bit more as well. It's a funny old thing, you think a battery is just a battery, but it's really not. Watts, ampages, they all play a part in how much energy you'll have to power the things you need to power.
We built this van because we wanted to travel, and COVID had shut down airspace, making long distances seem impossible to get to. And so this seemed to be our only option, and boy are we glad that it was. What an adventure Koti has been. Knowing what we do now about this style of travel, we wouldn't swap it for any long-haul trip. Buying a van and having a go at building it ourselves was ultimately a fairly low-risk project, with the overall cost of the project coming in at a little less than a month holiday in Europe. Value for money has certainly been achieved, and frankly, even if it hadn't been, the experiences we have had would have balanced the books.
If all this wasn't enough for 1 year, we have got a new newbie on the way. So please hit that subscribe button and join us as our adventures get even more exciting. I think we're going to need a bigger van.
I'm certain we will.